Hello, everyone. My name is Amrish Karnik. I take care of channel alliances and cloud service provider business for India and SAARC. And today we have a distinguished personality coming. His name is Steve. Steve is from UBX and he's a president of the company itself. So, Steve, welcome. Welcome to the Fireside Chat.
Thank you very much, Amrish. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yes, I'm Steve Panovski, president of UBX Cloud. My firm is a 14-year-old cloud services provider, and we have the honor of providing Veeam-powered cloud services in the globally, but in specifically in the India region, in the APJ region. And I'm very humbled and happy to be here and to have this discussion with my colleagues and partners and all of you to discuss all the wonderful things that Veeam provides in conjunction with our cloud services to kind of complete the picture from a data protection standpoint.
Thank you. And our partnership is there and will continue to do that. I'm very confident about it. Steve, if you look at Veeam's vision is all about protecting. We also talk about Veeam's vision wants to be a trusted provider of data protection that delivers modern data protection. Could you just elaborate about modern data protection?
Sure. I think it's important to kind of go back into history a little bit and see where the Veeam product has evolved, where others have not. From a systems engineer aspect and from a technical standpoint, Veeam was one of the first backup providers to actually see where the industry was going, and the product was very innovative and had a forward-thinking mentality throughout its inception. So, legacy backup providers were really focusing on physical. Veeam was moving towards, virtual first approach, and that was a very innovative standpoint, especially at the time. And they did an excellent job of just kind of seeing what workloads need protection. And throughout the journey, I've been excited working with Veeam and seeing where the technology is being taken, and they're incorporating their backup technologies, not just for virtual workloads, not just for physical workloads, but for multi-cloud workloads. And that data protection is really important because as the evolution of these technologies change, the vendors themselves need to kind of keep up with it. And Veeam is ahead of the pack and definitely a best of breed when it comes to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Veeam's vision is also about addressing the multi-cloud, because multi-cloud is a reality now. People choose the right workload for the right cloud, and that throws an enormous opportunity in front of us. So could you just elaborate more about this opportunity?
Sure, absolutely. You're correct. Organizations these days have to make a decision on where to run their workloads and mixed workloads. For example, if they have a SAP environment, they may choose an SAP specific environment to run that application, and then they may have some of their workloads split between an on-premise environment and a public or private cloud provider. So Veeam does an excellent job of keeping that single pane of glass regardless of where the environment is. It's really important because one of the things that Veeam does appropriately is that it has an understanding of not just the backups themselves, but what the data is inside those backups. So from a systems engineering standpoint and from a technical standpoint, it presents you with the tools by understanding what the underlying data is. So if you back up an Active Directory server or an Exchange server, it's going to provide you with an understanding that if it's an Exchange server, here are your mailbox recovery options. If it's an AD server, here are your AD object options. And if it's if it's in another cloud or another workload, it will present you with the tools that you need to complete your job and complete the recovery task. And I think that's a great distinction between some of the other providers out there and some of the other software packages, because they don't really see that. They just simply give you the data and say, now it's your problem. We did our part, now you do your part. And one of the things that UBX provides to managed service providers and enterprise IT is that we provide the Veeam services, we provide the expertise behind it, and we also provide the cloud infra to support it. So it's shifting more from like an infrastructure as a service to more of a platform as a service. But whereas Veeam understands the data that you're backing up, we help you in the event of those restores, and we go through and, if you have an Exchange database that comes online dirty, you have to triage. If you have, some other inconsistencies in your recovery environment, maybe something was missed, our expertise can be leveraged in that area. And especially now that it's getting more complex with multi-clouds and workloads in different locations, it's really important to kind of secure those workloads with a single product. And that's exactly what Veeam does, and does very well.
Multi-cloud also means that there will be a migration, right? From A cloud to a B cloud. And you're using Veeam for that, for migration services also. Can you just put that also?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It's like almost like an off-label use for like a prescription, right? Like, even though even the Veeam agent product is really designed for backups, it's used for migrations all the time by all kinds of people because it works so well. It works much better than some of the products that I just designed for migrations. For example, one of the biggest success stories that we've had in our firm at UBX was last July. There was a provider who essentially went out of business because of COVID, and they had about 150,000 servers with customers on those servers, and they needed to evacuate the data within 16 days. My team at UBX essentially ziplined in with our Veeam solutions in an environment that we've never had any part or any connection into, and we essentially migrated petabytes worth of data. We migrated out of their environment from a mixed amount of workloads. They had some VMware, Hyper-V, some physical workloads, and we essentially got into that environment. We deployed the Veeam software technologies, and we migrated them over that 16-week or 16-day period without a single loss of data, single problem. And this is something that that we would not have been able to accomplish with any other tool out there. I mean, some of these virtual machines were 20, 30 terabytes in size, and we're doing a direct to cloud backup from the client environment that's essentially going away, and placing them in our private cloud and restoring them from Veeam, and doing the physical to virtual conversion in flight while it's being restored into our environment. I mean, just to give you an example, under normal circumstances, that might not even be possible with other backup products. Or if it is, it's going to be a multi-stage process with additional tools. And we were able to, like I said, migrate over a petabyte worth of data without any issues. And it's such a success story. If you there's just no way that it could have been done with any other software package, period.
Yeah, thank you. So not only about backup and recovery, but also for the migration. So great. As we move, I think when workloads move into the public cloud, private cloud, sometimes even on-premises also, containers and Kubernetes is a reality of the world. And that also needs a much more holistic view of data protection. What's your thought on it?
Well, you're absolutely correct in saying that these containerized workloads using Kubernetes and other technologies like VMware Tanzu are becoming very important. They're maturing, and people are very interested in deploying applications with these composable workloads that can just regenerate and grow on the fly, and capturing that footprint and recover while using the same tools that people are accustomed to is a challenge. And just like with anything else that Veeam does, you guys are always one step ahead and trying to plan out these roadmaps for these technologies and incorporating them into your existing tool set. So I saw the evolution from virtual to physical, from physical to cloud, from cloud to K8, and Veeam is protecting all of those workloads, no matter where they're at and what they are. And it's important to partner smart with a vendor that not only has that understanding of technology, but is not complacent with it and always trying to innovate. And that's what we've experienced with our journey with Veeam.
Yeah. So, and which means customers and partners can buy that as a service from you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's an important concept, and one of the things that really are true to our mission at UBX is that we are a cloud services provider, so we provide an alternate to public cloud. We provide an alternate to on-premise, and we cater to MSPs. We help the one-man MSP in Gujarat to the the multi staffed MSPs in New Delhi, right? Like no matter where you are in your maturity model or your size as a managed services provider or an IT professional, we can help you along your journey, no matter where you're at. And not only just providing you cloud options to compete in this market, but teaching you how to run these environments, how to sell these environments, and how to provide value to your customers. We also do an excellent job at kind of evaluating where you want to be. That's an important discussion, and it's like leveraging the Veeam technologies for backup as a service and disaster recovery as a service is a first step. But leveraging our organization as a whole, we complete the picture because we assist you on best practices in setting things up. We provide all the backend infrastructure and things that you need to get this rolling. And then along the way, when you have issues or when you have to recover something, you have our team of experts behind you to assist you with that. It's all a part of our service model, and it's a very unique offering. Unlike a public cloud provider, we're not just giving you a console and walking away. And unlike a software vendor, we're not just selling you a box and walking away. We're taking all those things and we're providing a complete deliverable to assist you no matter where you are in your journey.
That's really, really awesome. And this current situation of COVID has thrown a lot of challenges for people as well as to the enterprises also. And which means sometimes we will work from office, sometimes we will work from home, because some cities will enter into the lockdown, some cities will come out of the lockdown. And hence, hybrid work style is going to be the reality, which means my data which is there on my endpoints, whether that is a Mac or whether that's a Windows, doesn't matter. I need that protection because it's going to be a really, really crucial. And I will need that data as I move into the office also. So can you please tell us that what's an offering which is there on plate where people can consume that like SaaS?
Yeah, UBX is the Veeam powered cloud in this region, and we have seen tremendous explosion of growth in the Veeam backup agent product line, and that's something that we offer to our managed service providers, our IT professionals, and our enterprise clients, not only at a very attractive rate, but we've addressed that market need for that business continuity, especially post-COVID. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's so much easier to secure and to back up and to maintain that business continuity when that workload is in one building or one office or things that are easily controlled by corporate IT. Now so many workloads, and there's so much more risk of data loss and cyber incidences, and it's extremely important to protect that workload more so than it ever has been. And the Veeam backup agent product is an excellent way to kind of lasso up all that data and keep it, and then provide additional recovery options when they're needed. For example, in our environment, not only can we restore back to an endpoint or back to a physical a machine or desktop or laptop, we can actually restore in place into our private cloud. We can do individual file restores if you need something immediately. There's an incredible amount of flexible options there that that normally would be an incredible challenge to get restored under normal circumstances. And there's not a lot of complexity there. I mean, the agent deployment is is something that we guide managed service providers with. We typically handle most of it, and then the managed service provider just kind of point us in the right direction. But for more hands-on MSPs, we can definitely co-manage and co-train and do these installations. And the deployments are, they're leveraging existing technologies like Active Directory to get these things out there and get them quickly rolled out. And then we offer some very innovative ways of monitoring it and ensuring the data protection for those endpoints and for those users are there and accessible and highly available.
Great. You talked about physical, you talked about virtual, you talked about cloud workloads. But there is a silos of some of the other workloads, which are the SaaS workload, right? And the moment I say SaaS, I think the first thing we started doing is about backing up about O365. A lot of people doesn't know even that there is the need for backing up on O365 workload. And that's a Microsoft workload, which we need to do it. So can you please tell us something about that also as an offering?
Yeah, absolutely. So UBX provides Office 365 as a part of our backup as a service offering. And the Microsoft 365 technologies, it's evolved. So initially, just as I was mentioning that Veeam, is always ahead of the game when it comes to these technologies, people seem to have a misconception on what is actually protected in the public cloud. And the shared responsibility models for the hyperscalers like Azure and AWS essentially say, here's your console and have a nice day. Here's your resources, have a nice day. And they don't have any involvement on the data protection side. So, if you have, many organizations are in Office 365 with just their email, but now it's gravitating more towards other types of data, including Microsoft Teams data, chat data, SharePoint data, files, SharePoint sites. These things are all there. And if something gets deleted, something gets compromised, exfiltrated, manipulated, forgotten about, there's no going back. Microsoft isn't going to, Microsoft for what they're providing and what Amazon is providing, they're not going to provide you any kind of data backup, and people don't understand. People don't seem to realize that, and it's a very misunderstood concept. But on the Veeam side, not only can you protect your Office 365 workload, like your mailboxes, and and have retention schedules and have those controls that you would for everything else in your environment, like your endpoints and your servers. It just connects right in. So from that same pane of glass, you can manage all these options, and you can protect that data. You can protect the Microsoft Mailbox data and Exchange, the Teams data, and the SharePoint data using the Veeam the Veeam connections into those environments. And it's really important, because it's a part of your data, right? It's a part of the, data is the oil of what industry was 100 years ago, right? So without that data, you're putting your organization at risk. And and it's a very simple add to take your existing environment and then simply just starting to incorporate those SaaS services as they're explored.
Yeah, and good news is that people can opt these as a services from you, which means if we do a great job, they can continue the services.
Yes.
Don't do a great job, they can move away from us. But I'm pretty confident that the way last 2 years have shaped up, not a single customer has dropped out of our list. And that shows that this partnership is working, this product is working, and these services are working. So really great. So thank you, Steve, for that.
Yeah, and I'd like to also just kind of expand on this just a little bit more on that side of the fence, and also the cyber side of the fence, because we've seen a tremendous uptick not only in the United States but pretty much globally, from state-sponsored hackers, and just as the the ransomware community as a whole. I mean, this is essentially become a business venture for these people, and they're doing an incredibly good job of destroying people's data and getting money for it. So to counteract that, we've integrated certain cybersecurity products into our stack along with our Veeam technologies to protect not only the workloads themselves with Veeam, but also to protect anything from happening to those workloads in the first place. So it's a holistic option. You really have to look at the risks associated with being a business and leveraging technologies that are exposed to the internet, and and these threats that are surrounding us. And I'm very confident and comfortable with Veeam's protection of not only our data as a cloud services provider in multiple regions, but actually our clients as well. And integrating these cybersecurity components are equally important in kind of painting that picture of protection. It's not only becoming important, it's very much becoming a necessity. I mean, every day I look on the news and I see hospitals, I see all kinds of just these massive cyber events that, just 2 years ago weren't really on the forefront. Like my mother, who's 70 years old, who's never touched a computer in her life, is looking at me and saying, what's going on? She's got no understanding of how some of this stuff works, but she's getting exposed to some of this stuff. Like, this whole municipality just went down, this whole hospital system just went down. And, it's reaching the lives of everyday citizens, not just technology people. And all that stuff needs protection, and all that stuff needs proper cybersecurity and cyber hygiene. So I'm glad that Veeam recognizes that. And I'm glad that, for everyone's sake, that there's service providers, including UBX, that, that provide that like complete end-to-end picture for the data protection, the cybersecurity, and then just helping you throughout that journey. And like I mentioned before, we've had incidences where, our clients are using our Veeam backup agents to back up on-premise workloads to our private cloud, just as a backup as a service. So we're essentially just holding this data for them in the event to restore back into their on-premise environment. And we recently had a success story where a customer lost their NAV environment, Microsoft NAV, due to an on-premise event, something in their building, some disaster there. And they didn't have the capability of restoring back on-premise because there was no on-premise. So essentially, we were able to create basically able to create their environment in our private cloud and mimic the same networks and segments and restore their servers into our environment. And along with their IT, we went along and we essentially staged this environment, helped set up the IPsec tunnels between the private cloud and what was left of their environment, and got them running before start of business on Monday. And these are things that are an everyday occurrence for us, right? Like, people come to us when they need these things done, but as an opportunity for the people in the audience, it's very important to say, like, I need to protect my customer's workload. I need a plan B in case something bad happens. And I want a partner who's not only, going to help me along the way, but actually has expertise in this very specific area. And that's definitely what UBX in conjunction with Veeam provides. And, we're not the kind of company that's going to walk away and say, that's not a part of our scope, right? That just doesn't happen. In the 14 years that we've been doing this, we've never told a customer, this is not what we do, right? So if you're a partner with us and you're leveraging our services, we're going to stand behind that, and we're going to stand behind you. And we wouldn't be comfortable making those kinds of assertions if we didn't have the technology like what Veeam provides for us. So I'm very thankful for that, and and for joining hands with Veeam very early on to be able to grow along with the maturity of the products as well. So it's been great.
Really, really great. It's good to have conversations. So Steve, just to summarize, people can use everything as a service, whether it's an endpoint protection, whether you look at virtual environment, or whether you look at physical environment, or you look at cloud environment, or you look at the last one, which you talked about, the ransomware, which is a security solution. So that also as a service from you. So which is a great stuff for every, because a lot of budgets are moving from CapEx to OpEx, and that is where as a service model is what people are looking at. And thank you for that partnership. Really, really look forward for working with you more and more. Thank you so much. Before I close, Veeam is always about what next.
Mhm.
And if you could just elaborate on what next for this our partnership, it would be a great.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. To the audience, please stay tuned for some exclusive offers from UBX, specifically targeted towards some of the points that we discussed today. And I think it'll be very helpful in kind of beginning the journey for those who are starting it, and then also for some who already have these options established. It'll be beneficial for all. So please stay tuned. You'll be seeing some communication from us with some special offers.
Thank you.